Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day. And today's quote, if you've been on the internet at all, you've probably seen already. Today is George Orwell's birthday. Maybe it's just my feed, but every social media that I'm on is like telling me it's George Orwell's birthday. And I think that that's because, well, everybody wants to say that now is the time that George Orwell was referring to, right? Like that's what 1984 is about, is what we're living through now. The problem with that is that that's not really accurate. Like, today is George Orwell's birthday, and I want to talk about him, but I need to talk about him from the point of view that a lot of you are not going to want to accept. And unfortunately, it's not really up for debate. It's not really like you get to decide. This is history. This is what we know. This is what George Orwell said. And I think that, a lot of times when you talk about like quotes and things like that, you take them out of context and they can be used for anything you want to use them for. That is most commonly represented with George Orwell because, well, depending upon your particular ideology, whatever he said fits whatever your argument is. And that's one of the like most beautiful, masterful things about him as a writer is that you can take snippets from Animal Farm, you can take snippets from 1984, you can take snippets from a lot of his other writings, his lesser known works, and pull them out, take them out of context, and say, look, he was actually a staunch conservative that believed in this. Oh no, look, he was a leftist. Oh look, he was this, he was that. He was what he was someone who stood up against totalitarianism in all its forms. That's what he was. And unfortunately, yeah, this is difficult for a lot of people, especially people on the left that they take his quotes, they take his ideas and they say, "Look, these were warnings that he gave us. Look, he was on our side because he was someone who through his own words supported democratic socialism. He did. But that doesn't mean that he would have aligned with the way that many leftists think. Many people that are liberals, especially, obviously not quite leftists, but people that are liberal, people that are centrists, people that are far left, people that are far right, none of you own claim to him. None of you own any part of him. Because once you put yourself in some sort of dogmatic ideology, you have lost the plot. You don't understand. It's not about dogma. It's not about just following, what everybody else says you should follow. It's about being an individual and thinking for yourself. Though one of the main driving points of 1984 that everybody seems to fucking forget or miss is that it's the loss of individuality is the key to that. The loss of the ability to think for yourself, the loss of the words and the ideas that would lead to revolt, right? That would lead to rebellion, the loss of the ability to think for yourself. This is all about conformity over individuality. This is all about taking the human spirit and beating it down to the point where everybody is the same, everybody thinks the same, everybody looks the same, we all dress the same. And this is very, very common on all sides of the aisle. It doesn't really matter where you align. And so, a lot of times, especially in today's world, people will see something he said and immediately contribute or attribute it to whatever their particular ideology is. We all do it, right? We all look at it and say, well, he's obviously talking about this administration. He's talking about Trump. He's talking about this. He's talking about that. He's not. He wasn't. He's talking about the warning that this could happen and how it happens. And the problem is, and it's just a sad truth of it, is that people get so caught up in the one line out of context representations that they can bastardize and use to fill whatever definition they would like. They get so caught up doing that they miss the greater point. And the point is that this was all a warning. This is happening now. When people read, I'm just going to read something from 1984. This isn't the quote of the day, but he wrote that the choice for mankind lay between freedom and happiness, and that for the great bulk of mankind, happiness was better. Right? Like that's how we are. That's how we approach everything. We have the choice to actually be individuals. We have the choice to actually think. We have the choice to actually show up as who we are. But instead, we mold ourselves to be around the people that we want to be around. We mold and shape ourselves to be in the relationships we want to be in. We mold and shape ourselves to go and work at a certain place because that's what they expect from you to do. And you do it because they have control over you, because they offer you money. Do you not see? You choose to not be free because you prefer happiness. We all say, well, I need to do this to live. I need to do this to survive. Yeah, you do. That's the system. But you're also not standing up against the system. You're not speaking out against the system. You're not actively doing anything to actually fight against it. So you've given up your freedoms. You've given up your ability to be an individual in the pursuit of what you believe to be some form of happiness. Now, let me get to the quote of the day because I would get lost continuing to talk about that. And the quote ties into what I was just saying. George Orwell, the writer, the icon, the visionary. What he says here is I can't even describe to you how important it is to me, these ideas. He once wrote, and this is not from 1984, this is actually from the preface to Animal Farm. He wrote, "If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." Let me say that again. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. Why do I say this? Why do I use this quote as the quote of the day, as opposed to any of the other 15 billion quotes and things that he wrote and said? I use this one because I think that right now in today's world, it is exceedingly important. Right now, we sit on the precipice. Right now, there is there is either going to be a movement towards pulling away, towards fantasy, towards, indulging yourself in things that don't matter and aren't real, or diving into the reality of the life that we are in, the situation that we are in, the timeline we are in, the way things are, looking at them, not looking away and trying to figure out how we better them. George Orwell was writing a warning. He was writing a warning in Animal Farm. He was writing a warning in 1984. He made that very clear. His final words were, I hope people take this as a warning, not his final words ever, but his final words recorded were, I hope people take this as a warning. I hope people see that this is a warning. Like, we're not there yet, but we are on the way there. I hope people understand that this could be reality. This could happen. 1984 could happen. He was trying to warn us. And he wasn't trying to warn us, as I said already, from a specific, ideology. He was saying this can happen. Authoritarianism, fascism, totalitarianism, these things happen. They are real. And they are encroaching. And they encroach from both sides. You can have, with leftist ideology, you can absolutely have a fascist way of being and thinking. When they start to take words away, when they start to try to define the way that you think, that's fascism. That's on the way. It's no different than the boots, the jackboot thugs that you have on the other side. It works the same way. It's all about coercion. It's all about creating conformity. It's all about taking away your right to be free. The freest thing, the truest thing that you can do if you care about freedom and liberty is to say what you need to say what is in your heart, to learn the words that you need to convey your ideas. Because not all revolution takes place with sticks and, Molotov cocktails. Most of it takes place up here. And if you can't control what's up here and convey what's up here, you don't really have a revolution. They can keep you wherever they want to. And you will always, always rely on them to define reality, whoever them may be. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. And happy birthday to George Orwell. I'll talk to you all very soon.